Question number 3 says a small warehouse employs a supervisor at $900 a week, an inventory manager at $400 a week, 5 stock boys at $450 a week, and 3 drivers at $550 a week. The first question is asking us to find the mean and the median wage. So there's 2 ways that we can do this. The first way is by listing all of the data points out. Well, first let's actually do that. So we have a supervisor at $900 a week. So 1 supervisor at $900 a week. We have an inventory manager at $400, so 1 inventory manager at $400. 5 stock boys at $450, so we'll write $450 5 times. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have 3 drivers at $550, so $550 will be 3 times. Then it's asking us to find the mean and the median wage. Well, we can take these numbers and plug it into our calculator to find the mean and the median. So let's do that. Remember to plug it into our calculator, we hit Stat, Edit. If you have information in your calculator already, you need to go up here to L1 and press Clear, Enter. Do not ever press delete, otherwise it'll delete the whole column. Or if you want, you could always reset your calculator. That'll put it back into the normal mode. So now we're going to do 900, 400, 450, 5 times, and then 550 3 times. Make sure you type in very slowly and make sure that you have all the points in here. There are 10 employees, so we can check that, make sure that we have 10 data points in there, which we do. So now I'm going to hit Stat, Calc, and choose one var stats, and that's going to give me my mean and median wage. So mean is always the first one here, the X with the bar on top of it. X with the bar on top of it is 520. Our median, if we scroll down here, 450, so our median is 450. Then question B says, how many employees earn more than the mean wage? Well, the mean is 520, so we can go through this list and count how many people are above 520. Well, 1, nope, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 people who earn more than the median range, or mean wage. Which measure of center best describes the typical wage of the company, the mean or the median? The mean is usually the average. The median is the middle number. In this case here, most of the time, the mean is going to be the best representation of the data. But if we look at all these data points, we have 400, 450, 450, 450, 450, 450, 550, 550, 550, and then a 900. This 900 I would probably consider, and I think you would as well, an outlier. Because everybody else is between 400 and 550, most people being between 450 and 550. And then we have one person that gets $900. So this one person is skewing our mean and making it higher than it should be because it's a higher number. If that is an outlier like this, then the correct answer here would be median. So our answer, what measure center best describes? The median best describes because there are more people that make close to 450 than there are close to making 520. So the median is going to be our answer, and that's the case if there is an outlier. So if there is a number that doesn't really fit, then yes, it's going to be the median. If all the numbers are with the same range, if I covered up this 900 and I just found the mean of these, then the mean would definitely be the best one there. Part D says, which measure of spread would you best describe the payroll, the range, the IQR, or the standard deviation, and why? Now, the standard deviation talks about the percentages of people who are between two numbers, so it's definitely not going to be standard deviation. So now we're looking between the range and the IQR. If we look back in our calculator screen, okay, we have the 5-number summary down here at the bottom. So we can use that to find the IQR. The IQR, remember, is Q3 minus Q1. Q3 is 550 minus Q1, which is 450, which equals 100. And then our range is the highest minus the lowest, so 900 minus 400 equals 500. So now what this is asking us is, which measure of spread is going to best describe the payroll? So, do more people, is it better? Okay, let me make sure that I'm explaining this so that it makes sense to you guys, because I'm not here to explain it in person. The range just says from the biggest to the smallest. Okay? If I told you that you were going to get a job and you would get paid anywhere from $900 to $400 a week, would that be better than saying you're going to get a job that you're going to make between $550 and $450 a week? Now, some of you might think, oh, well, let's do the range because I can make $900 compared to $400. Well, you could be getting the $400 while somebody else could be getting the $900. There's no guarantee that you'll even make close to $900. Where down here, you're guaranteed to make between $550 and $450. So it's better to be within here because you have a better chance of getting between that payment than possibly a $400 or possibly a $900. And remember, with our IQR, Q3 minus Q1 is 50% of the data. So 50% are going to be within that range. Okay, so IQR is the better selection here because you have a better chance of getting between 550 and 450 in comparison to the 900 and 400. Question 4 says the frequency table shows the height in inches of 60 members of the choir. We have height over here and here, and then count here and here. This is one big table. I've just taken the bottom part and just moved it up here over to the side. Okay, so don't this is all the heights, and then this is the counts. Okay, so don't get them confused as two separate tables or 4 columns to the table. Below it, it's telling you to find a whole bunch of information. It wants a 5-number summary, it wants a box plot, the mean and standard deviation, a histogram, and then explaining this. So what we're going to have to do is plug this into your calculator. And I want to teach you how to plug this into your calculator a little bit easier. And if you're not paying attention to this, okay, you're going to make the same mistake on your quiz, and you don't want to have to do that. This is a frequency table, which means that 62 and the count of 2 means that there are 2 people with a height of 62. So one way, if you forget how to do the second way that I'm going to teach you, one way that you can enter this table into your calculator, and you'd have to do if you forget, is do 62 2 times. This says 4 people have a height of 63, so I would have to put 63 in 4 times. And then 64 I'd have to plug in 5 times. And now this is going to be a lot of typing because you have to enter in 60 numbers. So I'm going to teach you a shortcut here with this table. So make sure you're paying attention. Pause when you need to and do this table in your calculator with me. Our heights are going to go into L1. Our counts are going to go into L2. Okay? And so we're just going to go through and enter them in. So 62, 63, 64, 65, 66. And I'm going to continue on to the other side here. And make sure that you are typing in slow, otherwise this is going to happen and it's not going to register what you wrote, and then you'll have all incorrect answers. Now that I'm done, I'm going to go over here to L2 and I'm going to type in my numbers for L2. Make sure that they line up. If they don't line up, you probably miscopied something or put too many numbers in or not enough, and so you want to make sure that they match up. Now when we press our 1var stats, one calc, 1var stats, before we hit enter, in our list, we should have L1, and then in where it says frequency list, we need to put L2 because we used L2 as our frequency, as our how many. So down here when we go to L2, if you hit second and then number 2, you can see the little L2 right there. It'll type L2 right there for you. And now we can hit enter and enter again. Now our calculator is going to take the information that we plugged into L1 and L2 and give us all the information that we're going to use to fill in the answers to questions A, B, C, and so forth. So the first question's asking for the 5-number summary. So that's the min, the Q1, the Q2, the Q3, and the max. So we scroll all the way down here. Our min is 62, Q1 is 65, Q2 is our median, which is 67, Q3 is 69, and our max is 73. It then wants us to display this information with a box plot. So our smallest is 60, our highest is 73. So I'll go 60, 65, 70, 75. Now I'm going to place my lines. So we have a line here at 62, a line here at 65, a line here at 67, a line here at 69, and then a line here at 73. Then remember the 3 lines in the middle connects, becomes our box, and then the 2 ends become our whiskers. If you don't have enough room underneath to write the numbers, just write them at the top, it's okay. Part C wants the mean and standard deviation. So our mean, we go all the way up to the top of the screen, and that's the first one that's given, 67.1. Our standard deviation is that baby sigma here, which is the circle with the little tail onto it. And we have at least 1 decimal place, 2.8. Question D then asks, display this data with a histogram. So a histogram here is going to be a little different than the graph that we used on the previous page for the percentage. Here our histogram, okay, I'm not going to draw all of it, okay, I'm just going to draw some of it here. Okay, so here we're going to put, we can put like a range, okay, and most times when we're seeing a frequency table or a frequency histogram, there's a range of numbers, okay, so we can do like 62 to 64, 65 to 67, 68 to 70, and 71 to 73. So this would be the range, okay, of the heights, and then we would put the frequency over here to the side. So we would count up, okay, so let's go like 10, 20, 30. So how many people are between 62 and 64? Well, between 62 and 64, we have 2 plus 4 plus 5, which gives us 11. So we would draw a bar up here to 11. Then it's 65 to 67, so we add up these numbers here. 7, 9, and 11 gives us 27. So we draw a bar up to here, and there'd be 27 in between that range. And then so on for 68 to 70, which gives us 14. And then 71 to 73 gives us 8. And that would be our frequency table. And you can have gaps in between them, or you can smush them together so that all the lines touch. That's up to you. I just have a little bit of a gap because my numbers at the bottom are too big. Okay. Part E says write a few sentences describing the distributions of the heights. And you can easily tell from our frequency histogram up here something to say. We can say that the most amount of people are between 65 and 67 inches because that's the highest bar in our histogram. Okay, so we can say most of the people were between 65 and 67 inches. Okay, and so we could say, like, most of the people, we could say 27. 27 out of the 60, okay? We're between 65 and 67 inches.